The single image selected for our story is the image on the giant story page. So this image, our point of view, it is sort of a bird's eye point of view in one way. You're feeling very much like you are looking up above, as if you are reading the story from that perspective. In the foreground, we have the illustration is comprised of ripped up pieces of pictures creating an image of a man. The mouth of the man is created by, looks like a photo or a pretty realistic picture of a real mouth, but it's turned upside down. So although it is smiling, it's kind of turning down. So it looks a little odd coming from that. The man appears to be coming out of a genie's lamp. So if you see him coming, so that's the basic foreground of this picture. In the background are pieces from all sorts of different fairy tales, as well as text that appears from those fairy tales or other books. So these older pieces of text, you can see up close here, text here and there throughout. And those are kind of interspersed in here as well. And then these fairy tales that are represented, we have pieces of them throughout. So like down here, we have Cinderella's slipper, we have a cat, we have Aesop, we have a witch and a rose, a duck quacking. We've got what appears to be, I believe, the 7 dwarfs, which are referred to in the text. We have a castle, we have a sheep, a rabbit, a crown, we have a hat, a bear, a man, an apple, a boat, got a blackbird and a pie. We have Puss in Boots, magic wand, a bird. So all sorts of these different images, the gingerbread man, a magic harp, going down to the bottom, a moon. This one's kind of crazy, these long fingers kind of extending out. We have a golden egg, and then again that man coming out from the lamp, which has a fish as his tie, and I believe that is a puffer fish. So yeah, so this image is a collage of all of the fairy tales put together. And it's represented in this story since the giant, the importance of it is the giant has become upset when Jack begins his story. He doesn't like how the giant is always tricked by Jack. So he has chosen to cut apart all of these different fairy tales to make a new story that he likes better. Although his story doesn't make much sense, so his story is this image here along with the cutouts from the other stories, which create this illustration. It's not a full bleed, but it extends around here to the all the way to the edges, and then here it is framed by, you can see the edges cut around the edges here, so it's like a ripped almost piece of paper that he has pasted his story onto and these images onto to create his new story. You see that his fingers here become part of the frame of that, as well as we have our frame break here with Jack, who's not very happy with this new story, and outside of it, his text, he tends to taunt and make fun of the giant's new story, and then is dragged to the next page by the giant because of it. So this story again is that collage of all of the different stories that the giant has used to make his new nonsensical story. So we have then this abstract image because of that, and we have the different patterns that we see of these different fairy tales within that collage. The colors that I see represented here are kind of in tone with the rest of the book, a lot of dark or neutral colors. There are those more blues and greens and a little bit of red, so I feel like the blues kind of give you a sense of detachment here. You're not really sucked into this drawing because it's so choppy. And the greens are kind of bringing you back to the nature, since so many of these fairy tales have to do with nature. And then we have some reds in here showing kind of that anger, excitement, and a few yellows, but mostly the tans and browns in there. I also noticed with this image here, the man, so it's a little scary with his cat ears and these different pieces, but he even has, like, on his jacket, it appears like another face is watching you. So I get a very kind of scary feeling off of this image. And I think as As I stated earlier, this image is important because it represents that giant interrupting Jack's story due to his dislike of being tricked by Jack. And his new story really isn't a full story at all. It's more of pieces from other stories. So since he stole the words from those stories here, he has also stolen parts of those pictures to create his new image. So it's kind of telling us about that. And other than that, that is the image I've selected, again, with our giant story.